All right, I want to explain this brain project. So I have this big chart. I have notes that go over all of these parts of the brain, where they are and what they do. All right, so if you look at the bottom of this brain project at the bottom, it has, here's what you're going to do. Make a model of the brain, including all the parts on this chart. So all the parts that you see on this chart have to be on your brain model somewhere, okay? Everything in bold will just be labeled on your model, okay? So, for example, notice the cerebellum is in bold. You are going to label that somewhere on your brain model. The medulla oblongata is in bold. You are going to label that somewhere on your brain model, okay? Brainstem is in bold. Label it. Diencephalon, temporal lobe, occipital lobe, parietal lobe, anterior association area, that's going to be labeled, frontal lobe, cerebrum, all right? So everything that's in bold, you are going to label somewhere, okay, on your diagram. That's all I want. I just want you to label it if it's in bold. Everything that's not in bold, you will have a picture exemplifying the function of that part with an explanation of the function on a key somewhere. All right, so to give you an example, in the medulla oblongata, that's just labeled. There are 5 parts here. So vomiting. The medulla oblongata controls vomiting. So I want a picture that represents vomiting. Find a meme or something. All right, there's vomiting. And then you would say this little picture, this vomiting picture, you're going to put in the medulla oblongata and then have a key that says this picture represents vomiting. Should be pretty easy. Here in the pons, as part of the brain stem, I want a picture that represents what the pons does. The pons controls breathing. So I would find a picture that represents breathing. So you can associate the pons is in control of breathing. So I would find something that represents breathing, and I would put it where the pons is on the brain, all right? And then have a key that says this picture represents the pons, which controls breathing. All right, the midbrain controls reflexes, visual and auditory reflexes. Find a picture that represents controlling visual and auditory reflexes. Put it in the brainstem where the midbrain is. Have a key that says this picture represents the midbrain, which controls visual and auditory reflexes. You may do this on slides. You may do it with actual drawings. I've had people make food products. I've had people make them out of wood. I don't care how you do it. You just have to have some way to represent all the parts of this brain with pictures that represent what that part does. You want to concentrate on the function of that. So again, reticular formation controls the sleep-wake cycle. So maybe find someone that's in a bed and say, that represents the reticular formation because it controls the sleep-wake cycle. And then put that picture on your diagram where it belongs in the brainstem. Okay? So I hope that that explains how I have this chart done. Notice the point values. If you need a picture, there's 33 parts that you need a picture of. All right, something that represents that part. And you're going to, if you have a picture for it, that's 1 point. Somewhere you need to say a function. Again, sleep-wake cycle, that's this person in the bed. That controls the sleep-wake cycle. That's the reticular formation. Okay? And then, is it at the right spot? Do you have it at the right spot in the brain? I want to see it on the brain somewhere. The picture in the brain somewhere. You can have a key off to the side that says what it does. All right, so each of those is 1 point. Look at that. That's 33 points each. There's 33 parts that need a picture, 33 parts that need a function, 33 parts that I should see positioned in the brain properly. That's 99 points. Do you have all the bold parts labeled? There's 11 things just to label. I don't need a picture of. Anything that's in bold. Don't need pictures, just label. All right, that's 11 parts and then points, and then I have appearance. Does it look nice? So this is worth 115 total points. Okay? So this is how I get the points for all of the parts of the brain that you need to know. And they are all on this chart, all right, so that you can know what you need to do. All right, so I go over these parts and their functions, and then you need to make some sort of model or diagram of it with all of these parts. All right, so that's my explanation of how to do the brain project. Okay.